Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason and I am just outside Hodgenville, Kentucky. I am at the Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historic Site. I will be visiting the boyhood home, but it'll be in a separate episode. It is part of the complex here, and it's in Knob Creek, which I want to say is about 10 miles north of here. But anywho, yes, I will be visiting the place where one of the nation's most respected presidents of all time, the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, was born. I mean, this is a guy who led a full life. I mean, without him, there would be no America. So I'm going to go ahead and show you around. I'll show you the monument, and there's also a museum here and some other buildings as part of the complex. So, all right, where to start, I don't know, but follow me. So as always, whenever I go to a national park, I usually like to start at the visitor center, which is just right over there. That's where you can get your passport stamped. There's the museum, and then they also have a lot of souvenirs you can buy. And over there's the monument. I'll be taking you there shortly. But here's the first marker I encounter, the Nancy Lincoln Inn. The Nancy Lincoln Inn is a symbol of devotion to Abraham Lincoln's family from the early days of auto tourism. In 1928, James R. Howell built the inn, named in honor of Lincoln's mother, to accommodate an increasing number of motorists who were coming to rural Kentucky to visit Lincoln's birthplace and the memorial building. Howell, a descendant of Kentucky pioneers, constructed the inn in 4 cabins with large chestnut logs and red pine flooring. The 16 by 18 foot one-room cabins were built to be similar to what we imagine the Lincoln cabin might have been. The buildings were listed on the National Register of Historic Places on January 10th, 1991. And then, yeah, the inn is just right over there. Before I do that, though, I want to see what this is. Okay, so here over the log cabin where Abraham Lincoln was born, destined to preserve the Union and to free the slave. The grateful people have dedicated this memorial to unity, peace, and brotherhood among these states with malice toward none, with charity for all. So this is pretty much just a model replica of what we see in front of us. And the park ranger said we can go in, but there's a door in the back to do that. But first I'm going to check out the Nancy Lincoln Inn. Oh wait, I guess I can't go back there because it's blocked off. Well, and it doesn't look like they've taking care of the yard, but you know, what can I say? And there is a historical marker right there. It's very faded. Yeah, right there. I mean, I can't even read it, but that's okay. And down here from the monument is the sinking spring. Let's see what this marker says. Abraham Lincoln probably took his first drink of water from this spring. A dependable water source undoubtedly was an important factor in Thomas Lincoln's decision to purchase Sinking Spring Farm. The Sinking Spring is an example of a karst window, an unusual landform. A karst window is a special type of sinkhole that gives us a view into the karst aquifer. So here's a little diagram on that. All right. So we're gonna go down and check it out. I'll be darned. But it says here, for your protection of health, please do not drink water or throw coins into the spring. So cool. I see some leaves and wow, so bizarre that Abraham Lincoln's first drink of water may have came from here. I mean, very likely it did, yeah, like the marker said. Wow. All right, now we're gonna go up those stairs. Now there are a total of 56 stairs, and most of us know Abraham Lincoln lived for 56 years, so that's what it symbolizes. So, all right, are you ready? All right, so here is the first Lincoln Memorial, the first real Lincoln Memorial. Also there's also the one in Washington, D.C. But this has 16 poles, 16 windows, and 16 rosettes in the ceiling because, yes, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. Now we can't use those doors, they're actually in the back. And on the side of the building are a couple more NPS markers. Now that is just a little rural walkway. I may go on or I may not. So the first marker on the left said the Lincolns first settled on the Kentucky frontier in the early 1800s. They built self-sufficient lives around the area's natural resources. At Sinking Spring Farm, they cleared land to raise vegetables, used the trees to build and heat their home, hunted game, and raised their 2 kids, Sarah and Abraham. And then to the right, it says the Lincoln Farm Association constructed the memorial building between 1907 to 1911 to preserve what they thought to be Abraham Lincoln's birth cabin. In 1916, the site was designated as the Abraham Lincoln National Park. But about 4 decades later, further research revealed that the cabin was not the original Lincoln cabin. But researchers do believe that the cabin was built on or close by that particular spot. On November 9th, 1911, President William Howard Taft dedicated the memorial building. And then the Teddy Roosevelt was here. Wow, look how empty that place is. Okay, and now we're gonna go in. And as I mentioned, this is a replica of the Lincoln's cabin. The National Park Service considers it a symbolic 19th century cabin, in which it was considered typical for frontier families like the Lincolns to live in. There is a small model of the cabin for those who wish to see what the roof may have looked like. It is easy to forget that there is a hole to where the low chimney is. Now I'm in the Visitor Center, and here's a penny portrait of Lincoln made in 2009, the 200th anniversary of his birth. Here is a Bible that was actually owned by the Lincoln family. It is not the one that was used to swear Lincoln into the presidency. There is also a family tree that shows Lincoln's ancestry. Thomas Lincoln was a craftsman and woodworker who always did projects. This is a table that would have been similar to something that Thomas made and what the Lincolns probably used. And while you're here, be sure to check out the 15-minute long documentary about Abraham Lincoln's life in Kentucky. Highly recommend. It's definitely a cool learning tool, kind of give you a little backup of information on this site as well as the one at Knob Creek. But it was 1811. when the Lincoln family was forced off this land over some sort of dispute. And unfortunately at the time it was common in rural areas such as Kentucky. So they moved a little up north to Knob Creek, and that's where the story will continue. I'll have a video on that. So I am Jason at the Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historic Park in front of the Visitor Center near Hodgenville, Kentucky. All right, sign off.